Yesterday, you know who had his third trip to Walter Reed Medical Center in 13 months. The visit comes after months of speculation over his bruised hands, swollen ankles, footage of him nodding off. CNN's medical correspondent, Dr. Jonathan Reiner, weighed in on it yesterday. Take a look.
The president has severe daytime somnolence. He falls asleep very often. He's fallen asleep in the Oval Office on multiple occasions with people talking to him in the cabinet room. And there was concern yesterday that he might have fallen asleep at Arlington National Cemetery during Memorial Day observances. And chronic insomnia is a severe illness. It can result in an increase in the risk of dementia, decrease in cognitive effects in older people. It's a real problem, and the president appears to struggle to stay awake during the day. And I'd like to hear what the White House has done to evaluate why the president has this increased daytime somnolence and what they're doing to improve that.
So, but the White House says you know who remains in excellent health. They also lashed out on social media, posting screen grabs of reporters with their eyes closed, along with the captions claiming they're asleep and must be in bad health. They posted one of you too, Joy.
They must have been showing one of his clips. Anyway, just because your lids go down doesn't mean you're asleep.
Well,
His
they've
lids
sort
go
of
down and
found.
stay down.
Well, what they've discovered is these are a lot of blinking shots.
Right,
These
correct.
They are shots when you're blinking. So the White House is claiming the media is using hot shots of him blinking. So I thought we should take a look at some footage because a blink, you know, let's see what happens.
Okay.
No. Those are long blinks.
Okay.
Those are very long blinks.
Okay.
Melania must be keeping him up at night.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's not. Well, perhaps the First Lady is also keeping him up at night. Listen, my concern with President Trump has been his overnight social media posts. I find it deeply alarming. I think if it was any of our spouses, we'd be like, honey, get some sleep. Like, you don't perform well the next day.
Have you seen what you're tweeting?
Correct, but nobody has sound judgment when they're up all night. So he's posted, there have been upwards of 44 overnight posting tirades of dozens plus tweets.
What are the
One night in
time
December between 8 p.m. and midnight, the president's account posted 160 times.
No.
I've never posted in a day 160 times, not even close. So I think these are legitimate
That's actually impressive in a certain way, because who can do that?
I think these are legitimate questions to ask. And Dr. Reiner, who was raising these questions, also raised questions about Joe Biden's capacity when that was a debate. So this is someone who's been consistent to say...
Wait a second.
When
Joe Biden didn't fall asleep, did he?
No,
He
he did.
did.
I mean,
It's
he
Trump
did in
called him
meetings.
Sleepy Joe.
But I know.
I'm making the point that he
might
is
have been Blinky
consistent
Joe.
as a medical professional. This isn't somebody with Trump derangement syndrome just coming after Donald Trump. This is someone who also wrote an op-ed saying there are legitimate questions about the health of Joe Biden.
Right.
And I think we need to be able to have those discussions for the highest office in the land.
And the important...
Look, I'm sorry. I just want to point out what Sleepy Joe got done while he was asleep.
Oh, good.
He oversaw a historic economy that produced over 16 million jobs. He passed bipartisan infrastructure bills, revitalized NATO and rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement, codified federal protections for same-sex marriage, signed the most significant federal gun safety legislation in decades. That's what he did when he was asleep.
I think we all agree at this table, Donald Trump's getting things done. We just don't like what he's getting done. So I don't know getting things done is the barometer.
Let's remind the people what he is getting done.
Yeah.
He's got several wars going.
He definitely
that
started
nobody said they wanted to do. He's building arches and ballrooms.
Yeah, he got a slush fund,
and
a
slush
$2 billion
put together.
slush fund
So
put together.
when you talk about a president, we want our president to get stuff done. There are things you can do that not everybody's going to agree on. It's just the way it is because we're a two-party system. We don't agree with everything our own people do or what the others do.
Yeah.
But I have to say, this other one, I am worried about him because I don't know what this means.
Yeah.
Can I say something? I had a therapist one time. I know that's hard to believe. And we would be in group therapy, and she would fall asleep.
Yeah,
in
but
the
that was
She
middle.
have
towards the end.
narcolepsy?
She
No,
wasn't.
well, yeah, no, she was
Go ahead.
in her 70s.
Oh, I thought it was the one that started to lose her mind.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay,
That was
different.
another
Yes.
Different
Yes.
therapist.
We were in group. People would be, telling their stories.
Right.
My mother, my father. She'd be fast asleep, and then she developed. How boring were we? And then she got a very serious disease, which I won't
Yeah,
mention
that's what
what
I'm
it
talking
is.
about. Okay,
You
okay.
know, I
Yeah, but the one difference here is you're seeing all these videos of reporters. A reporter falling asleep does not have the same consequential nature of the president of the United States. It's the highest, most powerful job
Yes.
on the globe. And I think that the problem with Donald Trump is I did notice with President Biden during the debate, the decline of sorts. With President Trump, it's harder to tell because he was always crazy. He always talked a little strange. So his weaves, his all the things. You don't know. But I
Well,
would.
he needs to pat that weave.
But I would say
'Cause
that
it's coming out.
if anyone else falls asleep at work, if I did fall asleep, or Joy did on the show, as they showed you, we would be fired. So the problem is, I don't want to see congressional hearings where our senators are falling asleep because
Right.
Well, that
there's
happens
one
all the
from my
time.
great state that every time they're on, I'm like,
Dragon.
buddy, come on, let's
But the
represent.
thing is that the reporters clearly are not falling asleep. They're at
Right.
work
They're looking
and they're
down.
looking down
Yeah.
and they're blinking. Joy was not asleep. She was blinking. But what I will say, Joy, I did a little research. After the White House sent that out, ex-users took up for you. They said things like, check this out. Even though I can't stand her, she does look damn good for 83. And then, yes. And then another one said, for 83, but we don't have the second one, but the other one says, for 83, she does. I give her that. I can't stand her either, but she looks good. So,
Wait a second.
the win.
Why is my ex-husband writing about me?
but the thing is, people are saying that it's his age. We all work with someone that is
Yeah.
older than the president and as sharp as a tack. So I don't
People age
necessarily think it's
differently.
age. But I do think there's
Everybody
something.
ages differently.
Everyone ages
and
differently.
he's not doing well.
But there's something wrong with this president.
Something's going on. Something's going
Yes.
on.